I can't buy the air I breathe. I can't buy the trees. I can't buy the deepest seas. But it don't matter, 'cause they're there for free.
Hello and welcome to Around the World in 88 Tales. I'm David Heathfield. I'm in Exeter at the museum, the Royal Albert Memorial Museum, and today it gives me great pleasure to be with a friend, a storyteller who has huge presence, not just where he is but all around the world. The curator and host of the World Storytelling Cafe himself, Mr. John Rowe. Hello, John.
Hello, David, and it is a pleasure to be here and part of this amazing project.
Fantastic. Where in the world are you? 'Cause I know you travel everywhere, John.
Well, I'm actually coming to land, and I'm in Swindon, but actually in world terms, down the road from you, but about 100 or so miles. I suppose Bristol is the nearest city that everyone in the world would have heard of.
Tell us more about yourself, John.
Well, I'm a storyteller and poet, and anything that actually works with words. And I started storytelling years and years and years, centuries ago. And I was the first, I suppose, I was the first storyteller in residence in a British prison. So, and I probably spent more time in prison than the average lifer, except I was able to go home at night. And I helped start the storybook dad scheme, where prisoners can record stories to send to their children.
Fantastic.
All I can claim is to have got the first international publicity for it. I think of it as throwing a pebble into the middle of a pond and watching the ripples go out. It's now run by people far more bureaucratically competent than me, and have turned it into a national charity.
Yeah. And in a similar vein, you're a pioneer with the World Storytelling Cafe, bringing stories being shared by children and adults across the world, and I'm very fortunate to be a small part of that myself.
Yeah, it all happens by coincidence, So I got to know Mike Wood, who was behind the World Storytelling Cafe, a few years ago, and we were going to. He wanted me to go out and help start a storytelling centre in Marrakech, which is going to open soon. And when lockdown happened, actually on the first day of lockdown in this country, we got the cafe going. And during the height of lockdown, we were doing 26 programs a week, which kept me sane, actually.
Amazing.
But through this summer, I've been back doing festivals. I've done about 7 festivals this summer. I've just back from the wonderful Bromyard Folk Festival. Got back where I stayed. I stayed in a place called Longlands, which is a care farm, and by that it means that troubled adolescents come and help on the farm and learn skills, not just farming, but amazing.
Storytelling's used in so many different contexts, applied in so many different ways. But John, we'll find out much more, and you can visit John at the World Storytelling Cafe. But now it's time to share a story.
Please do. Tonight, actually, just get this in. Tonight at 5 o'clock UK time is our Young Tellers 18 years and under, which is one of my proudest achievements.
Every Tuesday, Tuesday, 5 p.m. UK time, join us for the Young International Storytellers.
And David, you've been really part of building that. Anyway, what's my object?
Here we are, John. John doesn't know what the object is he's going to be inspired to. He's chosen to be surprised. It's a timely object. It's a beautiful hat. It's a cap. And I'll tell you that this cap, with its beautiful, intricate designs, little bobble on top, is from northern Afghanistan, the very, very north of Afghanistan. It's we could call it a Lakai embroidered cap. And the Lakai, there's influence from Tajikistan. So these are nomadic people. And you can see these beautiful decoration of silver coins, which has been what kind of inspired me to tell the story that I'm going to share. And you've got these tassels coming down here in bright colours. So I'm going to put it on the display stand. Can we see that okay? Yeah, it's a bit far away, but there we are. And I'll tell my story. And while I'm telling my story, John, you can come up with a story that you're going to share in response, either inspired by the object or by the story I tell. Are we ready? Here we go. This story is called The Silver in the Fireplace. Once, long, long ago, there lived a husband and wife, and they were very poor. They had no land of their own. They scratched a living. Every day the man went out to work to see what food he could gather. And in the evening they sat, because it was winter, in front of a little fire in the fireplace, trying to keep warm. And every night he said, "I pray that in the morning when I wake up, this fireplace will be full of silver coins." And then he would go to bed, and the first thing he did every morning was to get up and go to the fireplace to look. But he always found ash. Just ash. His wife said, "Foolish man, what on earth are you dreaming of?" But every night he said the same thing. "I pray that in the morning my fireplace will be full of silver coins." One day he was out working on the land, and he came across a thorn bush. He cut back the thorn bush, dug up the roots, and found a hole. And in the hole was a pot, a ceramic pot, an earthenware pot, and it was large, and when he tried to lift it, it was heavy. He picked it up. What's in this? He managed to open the pot. And it was full of silver coins. Silver coins! But no, these silver coins are not for me. I pray for the silver coins to be in my fireplace. These must be for someone else. And he put the lid back on the pot, put the pot back into the hole, covered it, and replanted the thorn bush. He returned home and sat in front of the small fire next to his wife, trying to keep warm. And when it was bedtime, he said, "I pray that in the morning my fireplace will be full of silver coins, just like the silver coins I found in the pot today underneath the thorn bush." "What?" said his wife. "Husband, you found silver coins in a pot?" "Yes, wife, underneath the thorn bush, but those silver coins are not for me. I prayed the coins would be in the fireplace." And he went to bed. "Husband, go and get them!" But he wouldn't listen, and soon he was asleep. Well, his wife had another idea. She went out of the house and knocked at the neighbour's door. The neighbour was an unkind man. "Neighbour, there is a thorn bush. Go and dig it up. You will find a pot full of silver coins, half for you and half for us. Go, do it now." Well, the neighbour was confused, but thought, "There's something in this for me." And he went with his spade out into the darkness and found that thorn bush. He managed to dig it up and pulled from the ground the same earthenware pot. Oh, and it's full of silver coins, and these will all be mine, every one of them. I will leave, and I will live the life of a rich man in the city. Ha ha! And he took the lid from the pot, and he put his hand in. No! Writhing around his hand and arm were snakes. "Oh, no, my neighbours, they want me dead." Oh, and he put the snakes back into the pot and closed the lid. "Oh, I will take my revenge, so they want me poisoned." He took that pot back to his home. He climbed onto his neighbour's roof, and silently in the darkness he opened the pot and tipped its contents down the chimney. Early in the morning, the husband woke, and as he always did, he thought to himself, perhaps there will be silver coins in my fireplace. And when he went over and looked, his fireplace was full of silver coins. Perhaps that's the power of faith. A story from Afghanistan. A story inspired by this Afghan cap with its silver coins running down the side. I'm just going to have a look on Facebook Live, see if people are... Oh, there's lots of people commenting and participating on the stories. Thank you very much. Yes. Yeah. Oh, I think we're about a minute behind on Facebook, so the comments will come in soon. I'll tell you more after we've heard your story, John. So, John, have you come up with a story that you would like to share?
Well, immediately you showed that hat, this story popped into my head. And I've never told this. Not only did I not know the object before, I've never told this story before. I'm not sure where it's from. I think it's one of those stories that appears all over the world, and I've heard it from several people. The last person I heard it from was Baden, the wonderful Baden Prince. I shall actually meet him in February at our Marrakech International Storytelling Festival that's running in February. I'll give the dates, look on our website, blah, blah, blah. But for right now, this is the story. And there was a milliner, a hat maker. And this is a long time ago. He was that poor, he didn't have a horse. He didn't even have a donkey. When he went to market, he had to put all his hats on a cart. And he'd walk to the market, and it might be longer than one day's walk. And it was on this day, his cart was full of hats. There were top hats. There were hats from very much like that beautiful Afghan hat there with the silver coins. I mean, he'd been making these for 6 months. This was a big market. And so his cart was piled high. And he walked for an hour. He walked for 2 hours. And after about 8 hours of pushing that cart, he was incredibly tired, and it was getting dark. And there was a beautiful tree that kind of had soft bark at the bottom, and he thought, I can lean across this tree, and maybe I can get some sleep. And soon he was snoring away. Little known to him, high up in the tree was a tribe of monkeys. And you know what monkeys are like. They'll take any opportunity. As soon as you sleep, they were down the tree. They'd emptied his cart of hats. They were throwing them round. They were trying them on. Oh, amazing. They had so much fun. And when he woke up in the morning, stretched, thought, I wish I had a cup of coffee. And and he looked at his cart and it was empty. And he looked up, and there were the monkeys having all this fun. And he shook his head, and his fist was, you give me those hats back. Now all the monkeys, monkey see, monkey do. They'll wave their fist. And he said, I need those hats. And suddenly all the monkeys were going, monkey see, monkey do. Well, this went on, gesture after gesture after gesture, every gesture he made. The monkeys did the same, and suddenly he thought, I know what to do. Monkey see, monkey do. And he just had one hat left, and that was the hat on his own head. Monkeys had left that because they didn't want to wake him up. And he took that hat and he threw it on the ground. Suddenly, all the hats rained down from the tree. He was surrounded by hats. He picked them up. He rushed up. He just, you don't usually move that fast when you wake up in the mornings. But in this case, he just put them all on and rushed off the market. And, well, actually, he had a really good day. You know, it was worth all that effort. He came back and he was quite rich. And, well, years later, after he'd retired, he sat round, and the way we do with our grandchildren, we tell them stories of our past. And we're very selective, aren't we? We do, you know, but our grandchildren don't need to know how often we squeeze the toothpaste tube, but you know, we take the best stories. And he told his grandchild the story, and he also passed on all his skills. And his grandchild became a milliner as well. And the same market, it was one of those markets that existed for centuries, was on. The boy got all his hats that he'd made, and he put them on the cart, and he pushed them off to the market. And we know it took longer than a day. And we could go through the minutes and the seconds and the hours, but we won't, because we've only got a little while to tell this story. Suffice it to say, he came to that same tree, beautiful soft bark, and he leapt back. Soon fast asleep. The monkeys came down, took all the hats, apart from the one on his own head. When he woke up and stretched and he looked, and he thought, we'll go through the whole ritual. So he shook his fist. Monkey see, monkey do. All the monkeys shook their fists. And he waved both hands, all the monkeys both hands, and he went through all the gestures, monkey see, monkey do. And then he took his own hat. He thought, this is the moment I'm going to get my hats back. And he threw it on the ground, and nothing happened. And he looked up, and there was an old monkey who could speak. And he called down, us monkeys have grandfathers too.
Wonderful. Isn't that wonderful, wonderful, wonderful? Thank you, John. I'd heard that story before, but I'd forgotten how it ended. So what a treat. I'm thinking, where's it going? Where's it going? Fantastic.
So thank you.
No, thank you, John. And wow, you know, I love the way you said, I'm going to be spontaneous. I'm not going to find out the object in advance. And you pulled it off, because that was just a brilliant response. And, you know, this beautiful cap and thoughts and wishes of for a better life, or for things to be okay with you in Afghanistan. So, without further ado, thank you very much for joining us, John. Thank you very much for joining us wherever you are. Just going to read out a couple of comments while we're here. It's great to have faith. That's in response to the story I told. Caroline Welkin, in response to your story, John, hats off to your tale. Great story, really made me laugh. Thank you. A grand dada lesson, says Kate Patton. So thanks very much for your comments. And you can continue commenting on the Facebook recording and also on the project page on the museum website. That's the Royal Albert Memorial Museum. And there's even a Padlet where you can tell a story. You can record a story that you've been inspired to tell, a personal tale or a folk tale. All the objects from the museum, everybody, whatever age you are, is welcome to add stories. We've had stories from the eldest person so far was my mum, who's 95, and we've even had a story from a young woman that John and I know very well called Jazz Name, telling a story about a crow. So everybody is welcome to tell stories on the page. And that's goodbye everybody, goodbye.
The trees, I can't buy the deepest seas, but it don't matter, 'cause they're there for free.